Discover College Soccer is proud to have VO as a partner, and on February 22nd, VO is launching a game changer in sports tech, and you are invited to the exclusive online reveal that will happen at 2 p.m. Eastern on February 22nd. Get ready for a major leap in sports recording and live streaming. We can't wait to see you there. I can't wait to hear what they have in store for us. Just click the link here in the show notes, and we'll see you there. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Discover College Soccer. Today, I'm lucky enough to be joined by Coach Frank from Division III Women's National Championship, Cal Lutheran. Welcome, Coach.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Again, congrats on a great fall season, coming home with all the hardware.
No complaints at all. Absolutely, one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life. So,
I can imagine. I can imagine. Well, um, I always like to start off talking about recruiting. Now that we're here in January, you probably got off to a later start than you usually do, having gone all the way to the national championship. But you know, what does your recruiting timeline look like right now, especially as a Division III on the women's side? Is your class of 24 pretty much done? You still working on it? Are you looking at 25s? Kind of what's your normal kind of timeline look like each year?
you're exactly right. We're pretty much done with 24. We're really focused in on 25. We got a little bit of a late start, as you mentioned. We missed some recruiting events because we were playing. So we do feel a little pressure of playing a little bit of catch up in that area as far as getting people interested. We did just have an ID camp, so we were able to have a good turnout for that. And that was super cool. Probably the easiest one I've ever had with getting people to sign up. I didn't have to really work at it. We filled the thing up pretty quickly, and we had an extra bonus. Angel City FC trains here on campus, so Coach Tweed came by and said hi to the players, and we actually used the field they train on because our new stadium turf is being done, and we've had some rain, believe it or not, in California. So it's put us back a little bit as far as the timeline went. So we were kind of looking for a field on campus to use, and they were gracious enough to let us use it.
No, that's awesome. Well, you talk about you missed maybe a couple events you would have attended. What are the events that you like to go to that are kind of on your must-hit list each year?
Yeah, we would have been at the ECNL Arizona event, obviously, back in November. We would have hit the GA event that was here in California. It's about an hour or so from us. So those two were sort of the big ones that we missed. We were playing both those weekends, and really wanted to hit it hard on the 25s. We've got a pretty good list going, but a little bit of catch up with not being able to see them play. Players were very understanding, obviously, of the situation. And now, looking forward, we've got, obviously, hopefully the ECL Texas event we're going to try to get to. The Las Vegas Player Showcase will be on our list. ECNL Arizona in the spring. May even spend a couple days at the Mayor's Cup in Vegas to try to see some kids we normally wouldn't see.
Okay, well, hopefully I'll see you in Vegas at the Players. We'll be coming all the way from Florida, so we'll see how that
Nice.
goes.
Uh,
What
I'm there.
Awesome. Well, you mentioned your ID camp. How important are your ID camps and maybe ones that your staff or you go to other colleges or places, the for-profit camps that are putting them on? Like, how important are those in your overall recruiting process?
I really think for us, the most important one is the ones we host here because they get a real experience of the campus. They get to be coached by the coaches. They get to meet our players who are, walking around, doing the tours and hanging out during the session so they can kind of get a feel, talk to some of the players. I think those are really important for getting a great feel for the campus, understanding our culture, how we do things. I think that's important. We do get out to some of the other ID camps. I think there's some good ones out there. But it's also a little bit more difficult. You have lots of kids at those camps. You don't get to work with them for a long period of time sometimes. They're a little bit more challenging, I would say, than some others. The ones that clubs put on sometimes are nice because you're going down there, you're at a specific club. You get to work with them for a decent amount of time, and then you get to watch them play. those are pretty good. I've done a few of those. But yeah, they are important to the process, especially if you're not on an ECNL or a GA team. I think those are important for players to get to. Those are a chance to be seen and an opportunity for us coaches to get to see a play.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, whether it's at one of these events or at an ID camp, kind of what makes up your hierarchy of things that you're looking for when you offer a player, whether that's on the field stuff or off the field stuff.
So, it's a combination of both. I think you made a great point. We look at both. We really believe that the cultural aspect of the recruit, the piece here is really important to us. We have really good kids, good students. We really want to build authentic relationships amongst our players, and really true togetherness. And I think you have to have the right people to make that happen and make that work. So not only are we looking for the best absolute soccer players we can find, we're also looking for the best people we can find. And, people say, why were we successful this year? We probably weren't the most talented team in Division Three, but we were the best team in Division Three. And what I mean by that is, culturally, we just had a grit, a grind about us. We were playing for each other till the very end of the game. The number of games we won in the final 5 minutes or tied in the final 5 minutes this year, I think was the most we've ever had. So you just that type of thing was because they were going to play so hard for each other till the very end. So that's important. Type of kid that we're getting here. I don't know that that's part of the question. Most of our roster is made up of ECNL or GA kids for the most part. We're getting a lot of, I'd say, D1 level kids, but more of your mid-major D1 level kid. That's sort of our niche. They're kids that, want high academics, they want a small environment, and they want to win. I mean, there's so much value on winning. People chase the D1, D2 thing sometimes, and they miss the part about living in a great area and winning. Those are two really important things to the college experience.
Can't argue with that, Coach. Can't argue with that. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the school. There's some folks probably not familiar with Cal Lutheran, so give me some of the highlights. What you think is kind of some awesome things about the school, maybe some things we wouldn't even know just by going through the website.
Yeah, one of the big things, the school's in probably one of the most desirable places in the country to live. We're halfway between Santa Barbara and Los Angeles, 30 minutes from Malibu. Beach is close, weather's about 70 all year long. So that aspect is great. The other piece is, we've had two professional teams on campus, which is something not maybe everybody doesn't know. The LA Rams have trained here since they moved to Los Angeles. They're moving out of here within the next year to a new facility they're building. And Angel City FC trains here as well. Their practice facility is here. So we've had lots of attention to the school because we've got these pro teams here. The other piece is we have really, really great facilities. Our athletic facilities are all newer, super nice. We're redoing the turf on the stadium, our fitness center, all those aspects, locker rooms, they're really, really nice. I'd say near D1 level facilities. The other aspect is we have some really great majors: exercise science, new science building, communications. Obviously the liberal arts aspect, the teaching aspect, but the big one that lately is we added sport management, and that one has grown. We have a lot of students in it, and now we're adding a graduate program in it as well. So that's been a huge aspect of it. Last piece is all the sciences. We're right next to Amgen. Amgen's about 5 minutes from here. It's the largest pharmaceutical company in the U.S. So lots of opportunities for the science majors, internships, and things like that. So we really have, a good variety of majors, small classes, 15-to-1 ratio, in a great area. And then, of course, the things that kids like, we have the Habit. I don't know, the Habit is on campus. It's a burger place, West Coast thing, I think. Not quite in and out, but nice. Starbucks and Jamba Juice. So those sort of help with keeping the kids fed as well.
All right. Well, obviously you talk about high academics and it's a student athlete experience, right? So specifically, how do your players really balance the demands of being a student as well as an athlete, and kind of what support systems does a school offer to help ensure success?
Yeah, it's a great question. We part of the process is recruiting really good students. That helps. We have really driven students. We had 3.6 GPA here the first semester, which is pretty remarkable considering the number of people on a women's soccer team. So pretty pleased about that. But our school's great. We offer free tutoring in the library every single day. So kids can walk in there, any subject area, and there's tutors available to support them on that. The small class aspect helps. The professors are available to students. They meet with students. They have great office hours. That's a big piece. From a mental health standpoint, we have CAPS. They even come over, which is a support system for anybody who's having any sort of difficulties. They actually come over to the athletic side of campus once a week so people can drop in and get any support that they need. And then honestly, some of the great thing about our school and a lot of the students being in similar majors, their teammates are great to help them with tutoring and support them in those classes. They've taken a lot of the professors in the past, so they have a good understanding of what's expected in those classes. So, we really do. The last piece is us coaches get reports every 2 weeks. So if we have any student athletes that drop below 2.0 or have a less than a C in any class is what I should say, we get a notification. And that allows us to reach out to that student and make sure they're taking advantage of the free resources we have on campus.
Okay, awesome. Well, let's take a step back, maybe we'll call it October timeframe. You're in the heart of that conference season. Can you walk me through what a typical week would look like for your players in terms of winter classes and meals and practice and game cadence, and what does all that look like?
Yeah, and it kind of, follow up to the last question. One of the things that's great with us is we practice in the evenings. So they're done with their classes by the time class starts. So we start at 6 p.m. and we have lights. So it's really nice. Most students are done with their classes by 2. So typical week. We play Wednesday, Saturday here in the conference. It's a pretty nice setup, a couple days off in between the games. So we practice Monday, Tuesday, game Wednesday, practice Thursday, Friday, game Saturday, off Sunday. That's a typical week if we have a Wednesday, Saturday schedule. They'll have a sports performance sessions, strength and conditioning, whatever it may be, at least once during that week in the morning. So that'll be a morning session. Prior usually to classes starting. So it's probably 7 to 8 in the morning, 6:30 to 7:30 in the morning, somewhere in that range, once a week. Most students start at either 8 or 9 with classes. Most of them are done by 2. They have a lunch break in the middle there. I will tell you, I don't call a lot of our student athletes between 2 and 5. That seems to be nap time in most cases. I wake them up if I call them during that time, but they seem to be, getting some rest in or studying during those times. Then they'll come over training room, get some treatment if they need it, kind of hang out, go to the locker room, hang out with their teammates, and then we're out at practice at 6. Done by usually around 7:30. Most nights, one of the benefits of California, we'll do a pool recovery session. So they'll go to the swimming pool after practice for some recovery. Out of here by 8 o'clock, eat dinner and study, get to bed, and do it again.
All right. Well, let's shift gears, talk a little bit more about the team side of things. And well, we talked recruiting, but is there a roster size that you find is ideal that you guys are trying to hit each year?
We try to keep it, high 20s, low 30s would be our goal. We've been a little higher since COVID. A lot of 5th-year kids, so we've ran in more of the mid 30s. That should come down probably after this year. One more year, we'll probably be in the 30s, and then we'll probably get down and back down to the high 20s. What people don't realize, the nice thing about college is you get to play 11v11 at practice because you actually have a whole field. When you're in club in high school, they never have a full field. They have a quarter of a field, so they never really get an opportunity to do that. So we want to have at least 28 players. You think about this. If you want to occasionally play 11v11 in practice, that's 22 players. You got a couple backup keepers. That takes you to 24 players. Then you got to have a couple subs for each team. There you get you to 28 real quick. And then you want to, factor in, you're going to have a few injuries. So you want to have a few extra bodies around. So, that's sort of what we're looking at as far as rosters goes. We don't have any roster size requirements here, as far as that goes. The school's not saying, hey, you got to have X amount of kids. They want us to do what's best for our teams to be successful.
Oh, that's excellent. Well, the other part of a roster is the staff, right? So can you talk to me about how big is your staff? What role does everybody play? Are there other staff maybe in the athletic department that help out with the team? What does that all look like?
Yeah, we're really well supported, as far as athletics go. I've got total of 4 part-time assistants. Some are less part-time than others, I would say. The top assistant is Brenton Frame. He's been here for 4 years. I had the pleasure of coaching him when he was a kid, so it's been a full circle aspect. Known him since he was 13. So he moved back from Northern Cali, went to Sonoma State, and ended up coming back here. He's been great. Shannon Pennington has been with our program since before me. I started in 2005. She started in 99 as an assistant. She's a teacher for a living, but is just part-time coach. It's been part of the program. She played in the program, so she's really great with just all the traditions and everything that's happened from the time. For her, I think this was probably the person that got the most out of this experience was her, because she has seen everything from, player, grad assistant, assistant coach. She's been through, she's been the assistant to 3 head coaches here. So for her, it was incredible experience. Then we have Chloe Montano. She's been here for a couple of years. She's a local player from our area. We were fortunate enough to get that position on a grant and Women's Sports Foundation grant. So she started here with that, and she's stayed since. She's done a great job. And then our goalkeeper coach, Tony Castro, he stepped in. We literally had our goalkeeper coach leave for like a real job, I guess, not a part-time soccer job, for a PT job. And about a week before the season started, and in California, you can't hire anybody real quick. It takes a bit of time. So Tony stepped in. He was a men's goalkeeper coach and ended up working with both programs. He's not complaining now, since he was able to be part of a national championship. I think he really enjoyed it and wants to keep doing it. So he came from Cal State Northridge, where he was an assistant coach there, and really fortunate to have somebody as our goalkeeper coach with the qualifications that he had.
Yeah,
So,
sounds like it.
so those are assistants. And then I think from a Division III standpoint, we have some full-time sports performance coaches. And I think Maddie Grease is the one that works with us. She was a player in our program, graduated in 2019, and then stayed on as a strength and conditioning coach with us. So we have a ex-soccer, Regals alum as our strength and conditioning coach, which is absolutely fantastic. But they have, we have full-time people down there and a couple part-time people down there. So we really, really do a great job with sports performance, and that's a huge aspect. And then, 3 full-time athletic trainers. So we're well supported for our athletes here. And I think that's, some that's where it varies a little bit in Division III. And I think here they really do a good job of supporting the athletes in our program.
Yeah, it sounds like it. That's great. Well, now to you specifically as the head man, how would you describe kind of your style of coaching, the style of play that you're looking to implement, and the culture you're looking to implement?
Yeah, so from a soccer standpoint, we're definitely, we focus on being a possession-based team. We want to build from the back when possible. Although I think modern soccer, you have to be good in transition, so you have to be able to deal with transitional moments. So from a soccer standpoint, we want to play the best soccer we possibly can. We do want players that are technical, good in possession, that can play that style. We want some good 1v1 players up top. We're definitely specific on what we're doing within how we play. From an overall standpoint, I would say I'm definitely a positive coach. Somebody that believes that it's better to be positive with people. I think energy is contagious. The more we can have positive energy out there, the more the players are going to have positive energy. So I think it really is the coach to help drive that every day at practice. We talk about, playing college soccer is a get to, not a got to. You get to be able to do this, and every day we're out there, it should be a day that we get to enjoy. And that's really the mentality that we talk about. The bigger piece of that is we really work at building the authentic relationships. We really believe that in order to be successful, I did a thesis in college, my master's thesis actually in education, on female motivation. And one of the biggest aspects of that is creating this connected environment. And in order to do that, it can't be fake. So sometimes people think team building is, playing these, games and stuff. And it really isn't. It's really about how do you build relationship? How do you do things off the field that actually get people to really understand each other. We're a really diverse team, and I think it's important that we continue to build those relationships through the activities that we do. So we spend a lot of time on the off the field aspect. I truly believe we are not connected off the field, we're not going to win on the field. And I can tell you from being here for as many years as I have, the teams that are truly connected off the field have been our best teams. They may not have been our most talented teams, but they've been our best teams.
Oh, that's great. Well, Coach, you've given us a lot of info. Don't want to take up too much of your time. Got one last question for you, and that is, if you had one bit of advice, one piece of information that you wish every recruit would know, every family, prospective college player, what would that be?
Pick the school first. Really look at where you want to go to school. The school is the most important aspect. The soccer aspect is absolutely a bonus because so many variables could change that are outside of your control. Whether that's, you get hurt, coaching changes, whatever happens in the landscape, it's really important that you pick a place that you're going to be happy. Here's the thing that it's really hard as a 17 or 18-year-old to think about, but there's a statistic out there. It's slightly more than 50% of all college students end up living for majority of their life in the same area that they went to college. Now, that makes logical sense. You're going to go to internships, you're going to get a job. So you don't realize when you're going to college, you might be picking a life decision, right? Someplace where you might end up living for a good portion of your life. So you really have to think about those aspects when deciding to go. If you choose it just on the soccer aspect, those are the ones we see in the transfer portal, right? Those are the ones that aren't as happy with their experience and what they're doing. I really think it's important that they pick the school first, and if they can do that, they're going to be happy. In most cases. You know, there's one more thing, if it's okay, I wanted to add. We were talking about the support aspect earlier, and I didn't mention. One of the other areas I think we're again well supported. We have the GPS catapult system with our players, which for Division III is not something that everybody has. So we're really monitoring their training loads. And the last aspect, we have a wellness survey every single day that they fill out. So we're really looking not only on their physical well-being, but also where they're at from mental. We ask their stress, their mood, things like that. And lastly, as part of sort of the team building aspect, each grade level reads a book. So we're reading some books, and all those books are really part of the building blocks of our culture and the foundation of building those authentic relationships. So I wanted to expand upon that. I didn't get to do so earlier. I kind of lost my train of thought there, but I wanted to make sure we mentioned that as well. But students don't get, the last thing I'll say on the recruiting piece, don't get caught up in the Division I, II, and III thing or the NAIA thing. Pick the school that fits you. Also, pick a place where you're going to play and you're going to win, because those aspects are really important to the experience. And kids get caught up in the label. We have a lot of kids from Southern California. They'll pick a mid-major D1 in the middle of nowhere, I'll call it, or Midwest, or someplace where they're not used to that a Southern California, kid would look at. I can predict the ones that end up back in the portal, because they're just not used to living in those places. It's not a place they can see themselves living, and then they end up coming back to California.
Yep, it happens, and the portal's chock full of them these days. But well, Coach, great insights, great information. Can see why you guys kind of built that squad and put that team together to win that national championship. So congrats again, and hopefully next time we see you, you'll be defending it in the Final Four again.
I hope so. It's gonna be a tough year coming up, but we're gonna do our best.
Sounds good, and I'll see you in Vegas. All right.
Okay, look forward to meeting you in person.
All right. Take care.
Have a good one. Have a good day.
Hi, everybody. It's Matt from Discover College Soccer. I hope you're enjoying the podcast, whether that's on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I also wanted to let you know about the Discover College Soccer Study Table. This is our brand new online portal that is complete with a 14-part online course giving you all of the ins and outs of the college soccer recruiting process. There's also a wealth of resources such as checklists, templates. There's the spreadsheets that have every soccer program in the country, along with their coaches, their contact information, their social media information, some basic stats about the school, and more. Plus, there's an online community where you can ask your questions, share your wins, your losses, any questions that you may have around the college soccer recruiting process. It's all there at the Discover College Soccer study table that you can find at discovercollegesoccer.com/study table, and hopefully we will see you there.